Frank Andersen from Idwal. It's great to have you here on my podcast.
Thank you very much for having me, Jana. It's very excited to talk to you.
So Frank, you are head of transaction services, and as I understand it, Idwal has taken traditional ship inspections and turned them into something far more strategic. So can you elaborate on what you are offering?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, the foundation of Idwal is obviously physical inspections that started some 12, 14 years ago. Then since 2019, we have kind of made it a little bit of a data collection exercise as well when we are on board ships, which means we have standardized our inspection. So we have checklists for each type of ships that will, you'll go through 500-600 different items on a ship. We will have educated the surveyors. We will use local surveyors. That is part of our survey network that we will have trained and educated. The questionnaires will then have defined answers. So it's data collection. So it's not kind of just a text box where they write what they think, how much rust is there, but it's kind of defined, is medium, a lot of rust. And so it's a data exercise, which means that when we inspect a ship, and we spend 8 or 10 hours on board a ship, when we inspect a ship, it's a standard inspection that is done the same way throughout any inspection we do. So in that sense,
so it's really standardized procedure. You start from one end of the ship and you just go through it.
Yeah, exactly that. On a checklist where there's standardized responses. And the whole idea about that is obviously you can start comparing. So when we then have done an inspection, we will have 21 sub areas we have inspected. We will give that a grade. So our data system, our algorithm will give that a grade. That will then end up in 2 grades. One grade is a condition grade, and the other one is a management grade. So how is the ship being managed by the crew? And ultimately, that will give 1 grade. And that grade is from 1 to 100. And the higher, the better. So that would indicate in how good a condition the ship is. The good thing here is, as we do the inspections the same way every time under the same questionnaire and everything is the same, you can start compare ships against each other. So if your ship is a 76, which is a good grade, then you can see how is my ship, which is 76, 5-year-old bulk carrier, how does that compare to other bulk carriers in my segment, so a Panamax or a Supramax? What is the average in the segment of all the ships that it will have inspected? So then you can start comparing, saying, okay, my ship is above average, or my ship is below average. And that reflects into the S&P market where we do a lot of transactions. So last year, half of the ships sold in the market worldwide was inspected by Idwal. So Idwal's grade is kind of a currency in the market of sale and purchase. The first question a buyer will ask when a broker comes with a ship, he said, what is the Idwal grade?
Wow.
And then he will kind of know that a 76 for this type and this age of ship is a good grade, and he's willing to pay, a good price for that ship.
That sounds amazing. And how come? Is there a big competition, to put it that way? Because it sounds like a great idea to do this.
Of course, we have competition. We will be ignorant if we don't have competitions. We don't have anybody doing so many inspections as we do. I mean, we have done about 12,000 inspections of unique ships, so 15,000 inspections in all since 2019. This year we'll probably do between 3,000 and 4,000 inspections. So nobody have the size that we have that have enabled us to collect a lot of data about vessels and vessels conditions. But of course, there's a lot of local surveyors in the different port that people will be using. There will be buyers will use their own technical department to do a buyer's inspection. But
Sorry, I was just thinking that does clients also track changes over time?
Yeah, you can. I mean, exactly that, because, in addition to offering, inspections, so impartial inspections in the sale and purchase market that the people who transact can rely on, we do condition inspections for ship owners, which means that we have big contracts with a number of very prominent names in the shipping market that uses us as a third pair of eyes. So we will go on board on their behalf, inspect the ship, give them an inspection report. That report and the grade and the comparison tool will be available in the platform we will offer to them. So they can then keep an eye on what was the grade and the inspections last time. We will have made a list of outstanding items or deficiencies that needs to be repaired, or we recommend be repaired, and we will prioritize them in important, less important, and not so important. And then, next time we inspect, and they can be 6 months later, 12 months later, depending on what kind of interval the ship owner requests. And then he can see, have I improved since last time, or have my ship managers improved the condition of the ship since I inspected it last?
Has also OEMs who are working with efficiency in regards to technology, are they also using your grading system to kind of leverage their own, or as they make it tangible what they achieve, or give?
We're not really doing that, because that will. I mean, we do an inspection and we see the ship at a point in time, and this is the condition of the ship. When you do, changes and modifications to ships in all kind of ways, you need more frequent data to measure the performance and the improvement. So if you put in some fuel efficiency gadgets or equipment that can improve your fuel efficiency, you need to measure that over time. And we don't do that because we only are on board one time and inspect the ship.
Okay.
But we do have a service, and we do have the competences, because we have 15 ex-seafarers and ship designers and captains and chief engineers sitting in our office in Cardiff, and they have a lot of experience. And as we see many ships and talk to many owners, we were able to make some recommendation that we think would improve the ship, and also we'll have some ideas what that would do in terms of efficiency gains, whether it's operational or it's fuel gains.
Okay, because I was just thinking it would be amazing if we kind of have a system X that will kind of gain so many points into the evaluation of the vessel.
Yeah, there is obviously. I mean, if you improve a ship more condition-wise than feature-wise, then you will of course see an increase in your point score. You won't. I mean, if you, for instance, say I install, instead of a certain amount of cranes that can lift 50 tons, now I install cranes that can lift 100 tons. That's a commercial decision, a commercial advantage. That doesn't change the condition of the ship. It makes the crane maybe a little bit newer, but it doesn't change the overall condition of the ship. But obviously it improve the vessel's earning potential, because it can do better business or lift heavier cargo.
Yeah. You mentioned that you have like 21 sub-areas divided into grades, and then you have 2 grades, conditional and managed grade.
Management grade, yeah.
How are they? Are they 50-50, or how is the split?
Well, it's algorithmically based, so there's some algorithm behind that calculates that. But yeah, of course, it probably tends more on the condition than the management side, but equally important in terms of when you look at it, of course, because a good ship with good management is normally also a good run ship and a good maintained ships, which is why we think crew welfare is very important. So we do ESG when we onboard the ships and look at that as well, because we know all that a happy ship is a good ship and normally a well-maintained ship.
I like that term, happy ship. I think that's it also makes sense because then if you have happy employees, they take this one step further and think for themselves and don't just do the checklist.
Exactly that.
Yeah. So I think I'll go to the final one. You have it over 25 years of shipping. You mentioned then also Maersk, and you have also with Cleven. Cleverness, yes. What is still exciting for you?
Well, what excites me about shipping from the first day I took the job with AP Moller Maersk as a shipping trainee is that it's international. I mean, and my job have brought me around in the world. I've lived 20 years in Asia, in Hong Kong, in Tokyo, in Singapore. I've lived in Holland for Maersk, and of course out of Copenhagen been working. And now I'm sitting in London doing shipping. Shipping unites, and shipping is global. And I like that shipping still have this, personal touch. It is based a lot on personal relationships. When you do business, when you buy something from your supplier, you get some systems, you need to trust the person you're dealing with. It's still a personal touch to the business, which I like a lot, and that doesn't change. And then shipping is extremely important for the world trade, as we know, and we keep evolving. Shipping is not evolving as fast as other industries, but we're catching up, and you can see that. You can see that, especially here in London, where there's a lot of maritime tech companies evolving and developing, and with the modern technology, the AIS, where you can see where ships are, you can monitor how fast, how are they loaded, you can monitor ships that is the black fleet. There's a lot of tools now available to make shipping much more efficient in the way we run things. And then on top of that, we have the whole carbonization or decarbonization challenge, of course, that hits us all, and we still are struggling or working to find the right solutions, I guess is the word.
A question a bit outside of maybe the scope here, but I want to ask, what is your, since you mentioned Asia, and you have been worked worldwide, what is your take on what's going on currently within, geopolitically? What's happening there? What do you see?
No, but geopolitically, it affects us all, because the shipping markets don't like uncertainty. Shipping market likes volatility, because then you can speculate in up and down, going and decreasing markets. But uncertainty about world trade and uncertainty about geopolitically, when you have crisis, you have wars, you have a lot of domestic conflicts as well. It makes people take one step back and doesn't really take decisions, doesn't buy new ships, doesn't buy secondhand ships. So the investment is a little bit on hold, I think, because people are waiting. But shipping is also a very strong industry and very adaptable. So once we have gotten used to this is an uncertain world and it won't change for the forthcoming future, then we will adapt and then we will move on. And we all talk about the American trade war they have declared against the entire world, basically. The world will find a way to trade with each other. We have seen how Europe and China is reaching out to each other, how ASEAN is reaching out, or Europe is reaching out to ASEAN, how UK is now reaching back to Europe and EU. So the world will settle itself out over time. It takes a little bit and it's a painful journey. The world will, we have seen that so many times, the world will figure it out and will balance themselves out.
Does it have any does it have any influence on your business from Idwal?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously we do a lot of transactions on sale and purchase markets. And when the sale and purchase market is a bit quiet, of course that affects how many inspections we do. Interestingly enough, we actually year to date have done the same amount of inspections like same time last year, but it's more sellers that is doing sales inspections, ready to sell, more than it is buyers doing a buyer's inspection. So we can see that there in the market is a lot of people ready to sell their ships once they can find a price with the buyers that works out. There is this, buyers are sitting on the fence and sellers are trying to make themselves a little bit sexy and say, we're here, when you're ready. So yes, it's affecting, but we have still seen pretty good activity, to be honest with you, but it's kind of swift more over to pre-sales than pre-purchase inspections. And obviously the other part of the business where people do conditions inspections, we see the owners will continue inspecting their ships because that's important for them to keep them running and have them in a good condition. And then the last part we're doing where we're working with the finance industry and the insurance industry to do the inspections and help them evaluate fleets and the conditions of fleets and ships. Of course, keeps being active because ships still need to be insured and financed, though the financiers struggle a bit because owners have so much cash, so they don't really need the banks as much as they maybe did before. But they're still keeping an eye on their asset. You have the whole Basel IV rules where ECB wants people to know more about their collateral, so the asset, the ship that sails around out there. So it still keeps us busy, the different other areas as well.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Frank. This was really insightful and also really exciting, our part of the business. Thanks a lot for your time.
No, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for tuning into HANSA Newscast. Make sure to subscribe and join us again for more maritime insights and stories. You can also visit our homepage, HANSA.news, and sign up for our HANSA newsletter. Thank you, and see you in the next episode.